Hey everyone, so today I wanted to answer some questions that I received through Instagram. As always, if you have any of your own thoughts or opinions on anything I speak about, you are welcome to leave it in the comments below, and I think a lot of people probably would love to read your own ideas. I think it's a really cool thing to kind of make my channel a place where lots of people can come, they can read through the comments, kind of hear the advice that I give, and then also hear advice from many other very insightful and sweet strangers from around the world. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump right in. So the first question is pertaining to money and finances, and they are talking about saving and kind of what I did and what I've learned. And a big lesson that I've learned this year is about investing, specifically in stocks and that whole type of thing. And honestly, the stock market has been somewhat volatile recently, especially with all the elections and a lot of political things, but it's definitely something that you should look into if you are not. I do see a lot of memes and kind of jokes about, looking in your bank account and having, $0 or overdrafting and stuff like that. And I do think it's interesting that as young people, there's not a ton of importance put on just good finances and creating those good kind of healthy relationships with money, talking about money openly, and just kind of being very vulnerable about things that we can do to improve our relationship with money and also the way that we spend money. We definitely live in an era of kind of spend, and to keep up with everyone on Instagram and friends and social media, just kind of constantly seeing people traveling or people having really nice material items can be a very toxic environment for someone that was not raised with good kind of ideas around money, and can make you feel very kind of helpless and almost hopeless about saving money in the future. And one huge tip that I have to say that's very simple is just by starting. I think a lot of people, especially younger people, think about owning a home or having money in retirement or savings as something that they'll do when they're older, something they don't need to worry about, and something that they physically cannot worry about currently. And you always can. You can always start with a little bit of money, no matter what it is, monthly from what you make, and start putting that away, start creating separate accounts for different things, and just really manage your money a little bit better. Something super simple that you can do right now is actually going on to your statement and looking through everything that you spend monthly and really kind of zoning in on things that maybe you don't need to spend on, things that you cut back on, or even subscriptions you forgot you had, things that you're paying for that you're not using, maybe like frivolous shopping trips that you're doing. Just really kind of actually put in the time and effort to kind of investigate that, and you will be amazed on how much money you can actually save that you can then go ahead and invest or put into a savings account that you maybe once did not have. And my biggest tip for just being good with finances and keeping track of your money is just starting, honestly. Don't wait until you're older. Don't think it's something that will just come as you age. You're definitely putting yourself in a much better position if you start younger and younger, and it's always great to kind of be ahead of the curve on that. And even if you aren't making a ton of money right now, just to kind of be open to looking into different options and different things that you can do is always really beneficial. And I feel like it's sad that in school we're not taught a ton about the importance of savings, even with credit cards and stuff, and kind of the trouble people can get into by using them and not paying them off correctly. There's honestly just so much, and if you'd like me to do a full video about finances and how to kind of manage your money, definitely let me know. Something that I've been doing recently is just being a lot more mindful of what I'm purchasing. As many of you have probably realized, I don't really do haul videos all that often anymore, and it's really because, number one, I have bigger goals in mind of, saving to have a house one day and saving to just kind of have a better future, and I really just don't spend money on like frivolous items anymore. Of course, I do like to treat myself, and I do love fashion and beauty, but I'm just a lot more mindful with what I choose to purchase, and I think, honestly, I have saved quite a bit of money by doing that, and I do encourage you all to do it as well. And to not get so caught up in Instagram and things you see online, because a lot of it is just not real, and it's very curated, and it is something that is kind of being sold to you. I did get a question about kind of the current climate of Instagram, how I feel about bloggers and all that stuff. I've been pretty open about my opinions on that, just because I am someone who has been on YouTube for like 10 years now, which is insane, and through those years things have definitely changed. I would say some things for the better and some things for the worse. Just like every industry, it kind of ebbs and flows, and of course things kind of change and become a little bit different. I'm sure many of you guys remember that article about a fashion blogger that had like a very set out picture. I think she was wearing like a matching pajama set, and she was in like a fancy hotel, and she had a plate of like really fancy pancakes with all the fruit and stuff, and it ended up actually that someone commented that the pancakes in the photo were tortillas, just like laid on top of each other to look like pancakes, and just stuff like that that. It's so comical, honestly, but it's so true. A lot of these fashion blogger photos are just very, very thought out and curated, and it doesn't necessarily mean that those people have all those items at every moment, even own the things they're showing, or that they even wear or look like that all the time. So just be mindful of it and don't let that kind of cloud your judgment when it comes to your finances and when it comes to doing something really important with your money, which is actually saving it. The next question I got is about family during the holidays, how to not feel down about certain things going on, and kind of the idea of what that really brings out in people. Now, I will say the holidays are such a great time and it's really cool to have everyone all together, but it's very, very common to have people actually feeling very hurt and very sad and stressed during the holiday times. When, of course, you have everyone coming together, maybe someone in your family is going through a hard time, a brother or sister, maybe your parents are fighting, maybe your parents are not together, maybe it's a blended family situation. There are just so many different aspects, even a family member being ill, that really can come out during the holidays that of course people are not going to broadcast. A lot of people don't openly talk about those things, and as you're going on Instagram or you're going on Facebook and you're scrolling through everyone's stuff about the holidays, you're seeing all these happy families together, all these amazing vacations and trips, you might lose track of the idea that of course every family has something going on. And just remember that in your minds, and also remember to just be a little bit more kind. And you never know what your kind words will do for someone, especially during the holidays when it's very broadcasted to feel happy and to feel joyful and blessed. And at the end of the day, everyone has things that they are going through. Everyone has certain issues in their family that are really brought out during the holidays, and it's always important to be mindful of that. One of my favorite movies is actually Pay It Forward. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that, but if you haven't, definitely go ahead and check it out. It's really great. I can remember being a little kid and actually watching that movie with my grandpa. He loves it, and it's just about kind of the idea of an act of kindness and kind of the whole like domino effect that really can start, and how it really can affect each person's life very differently, but in a really big way and in a much bigger way than you ever think it would. And I've actually done something a little bit special for this holiday season. I've set aside a little account of $1,000, and I'm deciding to kind of treat certain people to kind of like an unexpected little pay it forward gift during the holidays. I recently gave a very big tip at a restaurant when I had just the most kind waiter when I was in Sacramento that was telling me about being affected by the fires, which my heart goes out to anyone that has been dealing with that. I'm so sorry. But this waiter was just so kind, and I felt like it was the least I could do to maybe brighten their day just a little bit. And it was something they were not expecting at all, and I think it definitely probably made their day and hopefully kind of would push them to pay it forward as well. I did see recently on the news someone that paid for another man's like entire Target trip, and they didn't even know it. It was like anonymous, and when he got up to the register, it was already paid by the customer in front of him. And just small things like that, really to kind of bring that into the holidays. Number one, you will feel so good about yourself, and number two, it's great karma, and number three, it really does just kind of promote that idea of being a good person and doing something sweet for someone else in the hopes that they will then kind of be touched by that and decide to go do it for someone else. And so if you guys do want to join me in that, let me know, and I would love to hear about your little acts of kindness and your pay it forward ideas. I definitely want to come up with some really good ones coming up soon. I did, of course, also donate to the animal shelter, which is one of my favorite places to donate, and around the holiday season they can definitely use all the blankets and toys and dog food that you guys have. The next question I want to answer is about how to make girlfriends as we get older. Now, as you get older, if you're not in a social setting of like school or maybe a certain job, it can be definitely very hard to make friends. I'm someone who I have always been the type of person to be pretty particular with my girlfriends, but in that I've always had a really great set of girlfriends, and I've actually had so many people reach out through Instagram that watch my videos that I've become friends with, and it's really cool because I think through my videos you can definitely kind of tell the type of person that I am. And I had a girl the other day actually message me that she was like a little bit wine drunk and she wanted to ask me some advice, and we got to talking and stuff, and I think it's just really cool to do that, and it always really humbles me to have girls that are so sweet and kind that reach out to me and send me a nice message, and it always kind of just reinstates the idea in my mind that there are so many nice girls out there. I feel like a lot of times girls definitely get a rap for being catty and jealous and mean and stuff, but I feel like that's definitely not the case with many girls. There really are so many cool ones out there, but you have to put yourself in a situation to be open and to kind of be vulnerable to meeting people. It always can feel a little bit nerve-wracking, but I can tell you like 9 times out of 10 when I have ended up meeting girls and I've been a little bit nervous about it just because I am slightly shy, I really end up clicking with them and having a great time. So I think the number one best way to meet people is just to be open and to seem approachable and to also really ask people about themselves. I've learned that people really love to talk about themselves, especially girls. They'll love to tell you about their boyfriend problems or their friend problems or just something they're going through, and being a listening ear is so refreshing in this day and age, and that is a great way to gain friends very quickly because people love it when someone is selfless and will listen to them and help guide them. The next question I got on Instagram was asking about how to deal with your boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. Now, as the current girlfriend, I have definitely dealt with this in the past, and even with my current relationship, I've spoken to his ex-girlfriend before. She actually reached out to me, and I think that it's a very difficult balance, I would say, because as females, we do feel for that person, and we do understand that this is obviously someone that once really cared for the person you are now dating or in love with, and that can just be a very tricky situation. I will say, number one, it is your partner's kind of job to make sure you feel good and secure in that relationship and that the ex is not going to be an issue, of course, but to also come to this idea from a place of love and understanding, I think is really, really important. Just as a female, just understanding how that can be. And I definitely will say that as I've gotten older, that's become a lot easier for me to just not really feel threatened or feel upset about an ex reaching out to you or, even trying to be involved or anything like that, because at the end of the day, you realize that when a relationship did not work before you, obviously there were problems that were there, and there was a reason that those two people are not together. And I even tell this to people when they say they've broken up with their boyfriend recently and they're not sure if they should give it another go. My general rule of advice is when a relationship does end, it ends for a reason. Most people don't just break up for absolutely no reason. There's always something there that wasn't working or something that needed to be fixed that wasn't, and just kind of understanding that and knowing that, I think, can bring you a lot of peace and clarity. And I also feel like you should just really have a lot of confidence in your relationship, and you should make sure that your partner is giving you that, but you also should, be kind to the ex, understand where they're coming from as a female, and just treat them the way that you would want to be treated. Although I will say, honestly, for me at least, if I have an ex that then gets a girlfriend, I have never cared, because when I'm not with someone anymore, that relationship is over. I've never been the type of person to still want to be in a relationship that has ended, but that's me personally. I know it's very different for everyone, but I would say it really depends on the situation. And number one, you need to focus on your relationship actually with your partner and not the ex. But I understand that it can be very difficult kind of dealing with an ex, understanding how to go about that. And I think number one, just coming from a place of love, and then also coming from a place of confidence and security in your own relationship, and you really shouldn't have many problems with that. And lastly, I wanted to answer a question asking about any travel coming up for me. So as I said, I will be visiting family for the holidays. I'll also be going back to Montreal and then probably Toronto, I'm thinking, for New Year's. So if anyone is going to be there, definitely let me know. Let me know some fun spots. I absolutely love Toronto. It's an incredible city. If you've never been, definitely make a trip out there because it's great. Even though it's very cold, I definitely am going to be packing my winter coats for Montreal and Toronto. But I'm really excited about that. I'm definitely looking forward to those trips. So that's about it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. Again, as always, my DMs on Instagram are open if you want to talk to me or you want some advice, and I will see you guys very soon with a new video. Bye!